Hello, I'm Alyson Grange coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show for you, Resurgent Africa. Amid the coups and the crises, there are many positive stories from Africa that often get overlooked, but not on this show. Today on the show, experience the excitement of South Africa's car-spinning rodeos and try out Kenya's robot cafe and much more. This is Resurgent Africa, where we give you a glimpse into the lives of the people who call this vibrant continent home.
Engines rev, tires screech, and with a major adrenaline rush, Nalo Jivuho delivers a perfect car spin. The 40-year-old spinner is a rarity in South Africa's mostly male-dominated sport of car spinning. As soon as the human resource developer slips into the hot seat, she becomes Danky Dali, an impassioned enthusiast of South Africa's daredevil motorsport. Jivuho uses her left arm to spin the steering wheel as she swings the car into high-speed skids and stunts like the circular maneuver called the donut. South Africa's spinning goes back to the 1980s. It first appeared in Soweto during the apartheid and was initially associated with gangsterism. Car thieves would escape into townships at high speeds and would spin stolen cars to show off their loot. But today, spinning has transformed into a form of self-expression for the youth.
It used to be seen as like a gangster sport, associated with gangsterism, associated with people going into the suburb, into the white areas to steal these shaped cars, come home, spin them, come to Soweto, spin them and all of that. But for me, it's a way of me expressing myself, expressing my femininity.
Car spinning in South Africa is also becoming more mainstream. Hundreds gather at the tracks in Johannesburg to watch the cars skid into circles at dizzying speeds. Stunt performers hang out of windows or sunroofs. The biggest daredevils let go of the steering wheel or hang themselves out of open car doors as the vehicles keep spinning. Jivuho says she wants her passion to inspire young girls to take up a male-dominated motorsport. She says spinning is her way of expressing her femininity.
Little girls look up to me, people look up to me. In my hood, in my area where I grow up, you should see me when I'm driving one of these cars. The kids will come to the gate, thank you, Tali, thank you, Tali, thank you, Tali, you're spinning today, thank you, Tali. There isn't a lot of us females in the spinning industry in the entire South Africa in comparison to the men.
Her 12-year-old son watches her in awe.
I love watching her spin. Sometimes I even get in the car with her, but she's always careful, she's always warning me.
It's a dangerous sport, but the drivers say they're addicted to the rush. There are often no prizes or rewards, just applause and appreciation. First-time spectators are usually surprised at the passion of these mechanical rodeos.
I think it's a very unusual. For some people it's just a hobby, but it's an actual culture. I am learning today, is my first time. We need more of this.
Although spinning has been banned from the streets, the events still take place in closed urban arenas. The sport is legal in South Africa, but has conditions of being organized in controlled areas. Johannesburg's Wheels and Smoke is one of them.
The reason why we established the venue, there was a need for an accredited spin venue, and then by then there was none. It was only done in the streets and illegally, so it's been happening for the past 10 years. So it's an honor. It's not about them as supporters, it's them as family. They are family to these guys. These guys are not spinners, they are athletes. because they entertain those people.
With time, car spinning has also grown into a business. A ticket to watch a show goes for about $7. Today, it has fans and performers across Southern Africa and big brand sponsors. It is also a celebrated cultural phenomenon, often featuring in films and music videos. In South Africa, some spin drivers even enjoy a celebrity status. Those who take part consider themselves sportsmen and sportswomen. But despite their discipline and dedication, the sport has struggled to shake off the gangster reputation. Many still see car spinning as a layer for drug dealers and criminals. However, the organizers say car spinning actually deters young people from crime, pushing them instead towards a sport filled with passion. In South Africa, this alternative motorsport scene has been drawing adrenaline junkies for almost 3 decades. For those who take part, including Nalo, it's a way of life. And now she wants more women in the country to experience what she does daily and bring equality in the sport. In the heart of Cheretsi, a semi-arid region in southeastern Zimbabwe, a remarkable transformation is taking place. Tembane Chako Mastic, once a poacher driven by desperation, is now a passionate advocate for wildlife conservation, challenging some deeply ingrained traditions in his community. Tembane Chako's journey to this new path began in a way many wouldn't expect, inside a prison cell. Farming in his drought-stricken region had become nearly impossible, forcing him to turn to poaching as a means of survival. Late last year, he was caught taking small game in the nearby Save Valley Conservancy, one of Africa's largest private game reserves. His capture led to a 3-month stint in jail, a period that forever changed his life.
I grew up as a hunter, and it is a trade that became intrinsic. Before game rangers eventually caught up with me in the animal reserve, hunting was our way of life, but we did not know that we were committing a crime by killing animals.
While behind bars, Tembane Chako encountered a unique program designed to reform poachers by turning them into conservationists. Through this initiative, he not only learned about the importance of preserving wildlife, but also acquired new skills, including carpentry. These skills have since become his livelihood, offering him a fresh start and a new purpose.
During my time in prison, I learned many crafts such as weaving and sculpting. I was enlightened during my time of imprisonment and realized that I could make a living without hunting.
Upon his release, Tembane Chako returned to his village not as the poacher but as a skilled carpenter and a vocal proponent of conservation. His workshop, a humble space filled with the scent of fresh wood and dry palm leaves, has become a beacon of hope. Using tree branches and palm fronds, he now crafts beautiful furniture that appeals to both tourists and locals.
These days my main income comes from creating pieces of art which I sell to tourists. My workshop is at a public place and anyone can admire my work whilst it's in progress.
But Tembane Chako's transformation is not just about his redemption, it's about changing the mindset of an entire community. He now urges his fellow villagers to embrace farming and livestock rearing not only as a means of survival but as a way to coexist.
I have tried to educate my fellow hunters and village men on the dangers of poaching, and I'm proud to say the number of poachers from my village has decreased noticeably. I pride myself in spreading knowledge on conserving wildlife.
A spokesperson for the Zimbabwe National Parks and Wildlife Management Authority recognizes the significance of Tembane Chako's work. According to him, raising awareness is the key to tackle the issue of poaching.
Poaching is a cancer which we have been trying to deal with over the past few years. If you look at the statistics, of course there are other problem areas still we have.
In a place where survival often takes precedence over conservation, Tembane Chako stands as a symbol of hope, proving that with the right support and opportunities, even those who once contributed to the problem can become champions of the solution. Once the plot of sci-fi flicks and wild imaginations, robots have officially crash-landed into reality. People used to think that robots were gadgets that only the rich could afford, like a yacht or a private island. But, surprise, surprise, robots have now invaded every corner of the globe, from the skyscrapers of New York to the bustling streets of Nairobi. Yes, you heard that right. Robots have arrived in Kenya, and they're not just hanging out, they're waiting tables. In a twist that no one saw coming, robots are now the hottest waitstaff in town. Forget about a regular human waiter with their charming smile and questionable memory. Kenya has upped the game with robot servers. The idea of robots serving food has sent waves of excitement through the local population, hence proving that nothing says futuristic dining experience like being handed a glass of water by a machine that doesn't require tips.
My first time here and being served by a robot is something that I don't know if it's happening in most hotels in Kenya. So I came here to get the experience and I can say everything is okay.
Nairobi's latest sensation, a robot cafe, has become the talk of the town. Every single day, locals flock to this joint just to see a robot in action. The robots, designed in a simplistic humanoid form, come equipped with arms that double up as trays. Not only do they deliver your food, but they also greet you with a robotic cheerfulness that would make even the most seasoned waiter jealous. This futuristic cafe is the brainchild of Mohammed Abass, who, after a jaunt through Asia, decided that Nairobi was in desperate need of some robotic flair, inspired by the variety of robots he encountered during his travels.
We see kind of common business in South and Central Asia, Japan and Thailand and China. And so we try to become like part of the sophisticated technology in the world.
Abass knew that he had to bring a few of these mechanical marvels back home. And so Nairobi got its first robot cafe, where the servers might be made of metal, but the buzz is 100% real. But wait, before one starts thinking that Kenya has entered the robot apocalypse, let's address the elephant in the room. Kenya has been grappling with high unemployment rates, leading to protests and calls for the president's resignation. So the arrival of these robots might seem like the last thing the country needs. Are these robots really here to take jobs, or are they just here to add a little bit of tech pizzazz to the Kenyan dining experience? Fear not, robots are not about to take over completely. As one human employee at the cafe, Ruth Wanjiru, puts it, there's still plenty for people to do.
I have to go pick the order because the robots can't. Secondly, the robots do not do the clearance. We personally do the clearance. Thirdly, the robots also do not cook. So it's the chefs and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot that the humans are doing that the robots can't.
In the end, it seems like the robots are more of a novelty than a threat, serving up a side of entertainment with every dish. They might have arms, but they're not about to roll up their sleeves and take over the kitchen. So while Nairobi gets a taste of the future, human waitstaff can breathe a little easier, knowing they won't be replaced by robots anytime soon. At least not until someone invents a robot that can master the art of small talk and handle a demanding customer with grace. Now that would be a true game changer. They say home is where the peace is. Home is not a place, but a feeling of belongingness, love and hope. The people of Sudan are proving this notion. More than a year of brutal civil war in the nation has destroyed houses and shattered buildings. But it hasn't shattered the will and the optimism of the millions of people who are ready to build everything from scratch. 16 months of brutal fighting between the army and the paramilitary RSF has displaced over 10 million people. The crisis has been labelled as one of the world's worst. The United Nations says Sudan is at a breaking point. But the Sudanese people are ready to put it all together. Displaced people in North Sudan are building new homes. Unsure of when they would be able to return to their life before, they are looking for a fresh start. It's a bit traditional with no modern material available. So people have turned to clay, mud and palm fronds to build new houses. But for now, these materials have emerged as saviors, providing them better conditions and an escape from the bloody war.
We use these specific materials in construction to save time, but also because of the war edition conditions and situation we are living in. We built the house in the traditional way with clay and palm fronds.
The war displaced Mohammed Abd al-Hamid from Khartoum, and he hopes every day for the situation in his country to improve and for him to return to the capital. But until then, he is assembling a new life brick by brick.
Every day we say there is hope for the situation to improve and for us to return to Khartoum, but the situation still looks the same. I decided to build here on a plot of land that I own. I started building with local raw materials such as clay and bricks. Thank God, I built the house, but the roof still remains. Step by step, I will build the roof and move to the new house.
The traditional materials that people are using are easily accessible. Besides, some people are also skilled in construction work.
The materials used are easy to obtain. They're all from the local market and are not imported. Clay is available and the animals are available here. And construction workers here have experience in this method because they inherited it from their ancestors.
Almost 20% of the Sudanese population has fled homes amid the war. There is a huge shortage of food and water, creating famine-like conditions. Efforts to bring a truce have failed so far. US-led peace talks have concluded in Geneva with no deal. Sudan's army chief has ruled out participation in the peace talks as he accuses the RSF of continued attacks on civilian areas.
Most people here do not understand the reason behind the war and why it broke out. The reasons for the war are very weak and maybe illogical. But in any case, we are simple people and have nothing to do with the war.
With an agreement to end the war not in sight, people in Sudan have realized that returning to normalcy could be a distant dream. So instead, they are choosing to embrace the new normal. A truce deal might not be in their hands, but the spirit to fight the odds and a will to survive certainly is. When you hear of a farmer, the first image that comes to your mind is that of a person toiling in the fields, protecting crops from extreme weather, birds and animals, or someone herding cattle. Well, that's one side of it, and a rather conventional one. But in the West African nation of Senegal, you would see a different image. Things here are changing for the good. New age farmers of Senegal are tech savvy. They follow a modernized approach using social media to manage their produce. Farmers in Senegal have access to online platforms that help them take their produce from the farm to the market with just a click.
Salam alaikum, yéen ñi bëgg mango Dakar donc mango Kent kilo 400 HLM Grand Yoff livraison gratuite à partir de
30-year-old Mame Abdou Diop is one of them. Diop shoots TikTok clips to sell and promote his straight out of the farm mangoes, with a hope to encash his growing following on the short video app to boost his sales.
I was just making the videos for fun, and I didn't even know the impact social media was having. But lately I've had a lot of clients, especially from Europe, who, even from a distance, see what I'm doing.
And that did end up happening. Diop has more than doubled his client base. People from across continents have approached him to buy his yields.
Thanks to the videos I make, I've added double or triple the customers to my regular customers. So for me, social media is something more. So it's very good marketing.
The use of social media marketing has helped sellers do away with costly middlemen, which in turn has increased their profit. And it's not just the sellers who benefit from these social media platforms, even buyers benefit from direct dealing.
I was scrolling through Instagram, and that's when I saw his post. I saw that he was selling mangoes at an affordable price, which was a bit convenient for me because I process them and sell them back with a profit margin. So I saw the quality, contacted him, and he delivered on time.
The agriculture sector represents roughly 16% of Senegal's GDP. However, it employs 60% of the labor force. The industry also suffers from chronic underperformance. Senegal imports almost 70% of its food requirements. The Senegalese government has now prioritized attaining food sovereignty and aims to create more jobs in the sector. And the rising use of social media apps helps the government's initiative. The use of social media marketing in one of the most conventional sectors has widened its horizons. It has generated new employment opportunities in a country that's plagued by youth unemployment. Senegal now has agri-influencers. These farming experts use networking platforms to find clients. They help them in areas of land development, commercial production, and fruit tree planting.
I consider myself an agri-influencer, yes. I consider myself as such since I publish activities all the time, and it's only agricultural activities on plant production. When I'm out and about, I take my phone with me. I take photos, I take videos, selfies, maybe snap, and then I publish them on social networks to show my activities. Sometimes I do Instagram boosts, and that's how people contact me for field visits to follow up on their orchard or farm.
The social media fever is not restricted to just Senegal, though. Farmers from other African countries, including the Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Gambia, and Mali, now have access to information and clients across borders. And their creativity has opened new doors of opportunities.
And that's all we have time for on the show for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to First Post. Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment. So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for a future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alyson, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital,